Following conducting year downstream of the melodic main, Jazzy is using and sudden back to the spotlight. And blast of youthful musicians are studying the audio, and a new motion is affecting the top notes in both of listeners and players. The growing splash of concern has been reflecting in both of dwell productivity, ticketing turnover and flowing figures. Less flowing platforms such as Deezer and Amazon piece of music informed such increases. The increase has been ascribed to a prosperous UK stage that fuses jazzy in a kind of genres. Dr. Peter Elston, a music expert at the College of Housing, describes jazzy as a chameleon, how always changes color to represent its environmental. Which thou re-listening is thing how's got the nature of jazzy, but in a lot of some modern piece of music, he says. Dr. Elston as well acknowledges how flowing has permitted us to do protection among various artists and genres more rapid rather than up, and how youthful human beings are more than outdoor to research. Since of the way flowing services job, human beings can discover out on jazzy more than readily and rapidly rather than they might include been capable to in the history, he explains. As flowing, Dr. Elston notes how public print tool jazzy artists can marketplace themselves immediately to fans, promoters and venues. He's probable now to put yours piece of music out down there and get gigs out of a main recording transactions, how makes the entire stage a lot more than exciting. In fact, since you don't include it creature controllable by a few tag. He's more democratic. Oscar Jerome is a guitar player and artist-songwriter of Norwich, who now resides in London. In spite student jazzy at Trio School of Piece of Music, he utilized to escape the sticker due to its adverse connotations. I was concerned human beings would believe it wasn't vigorous piece of music how they could dancing to, or how it wasn't definitely thing how they could refer for, he says. The 26-year-old piece of music is a smelting pot of genres, jazzy, thigh-hop, blues music, heart-building, Western African piece of music, and though Jimi Hendrix, who he cites as a large impact. As length as he's sincere, I love he says. Jerome feels how youthful musicians and listeners are manufacturing, mix and inquiring for piece of music how's more than pertinent to them currently. I would say how famous piece of music now is really rich. In regulation of the charts, you can fair speak how largest of how piece of music has been spelled for such human beings by a team of songwriters. It doesn't very indicate whatever. A lot of human beings are inquiring for thing external. Nubia Garcia is a London-based saxophone and songwriter who describes her piece of music as a wholesome dosage of my loving for jazzy, electric piece of music, thigh-hop, calypso, soca and modal jazzy. This audio how thou re-listening is desire, she adds. Her eclectic audio has painted a various auditorium. In August she'll though be manufacturing a travel to Croatia to execute at the Electric Piece of Music Fest Dimensions. I don't fit into fair one location, she says. I could fit in a gig room, I could fit in a filthy clubhouse, I could fit in a jazzy clubhouse, I could fit into a storage. The flesh of piece of music how is event at the time, he's universal in regulation of who and wherever we're game to and wherever we're game, particularly in the UK and about the planet, she explains. Human beings wish to sense the piece of music, the power and see which's departure at, she says. Moses Boyd is a drum of London and an ubiquitous donor to the developing UK jazzy stage. Sames play in a list of big names, Sampha, Nubia Garcia, Zara McFarlane, Slightsims and four persons tet to be half but a few. He as well has his own gang, the outcome. Though if you don't see me on the phase, I'm on a lot of the accounting records how are proper staples from the jazzy stage or the new growing jazzy stage, he says. The 27-year-old describes oneself as a audio system infant and wants to give the costume party to jazzy. I'm Western Hindu, unborn there other general, but my household are of Dominica and Jamaica, so I grew up in soca, reggae and all how type of piece of music. While you go to costume party and you listen how bass voice in yours belly, I thick felt how was lacking of jazzy. I requested to utilize how behind and give how common dimension of piece of music for the dancing and house which audio system civilization is on. In spite their youthful, Ezra Joint are one of the longest running bands during the new wavelength of UK jazzy piece of music. The five-piece met at the age of 16 via Next Day's host, a jazzy piece of music formation and painter growth organization how plant through the nation. 6 years after and the team are departure much stronger rather than always. I would explain Ezra Joint's audio as a very reliably London audio, mixed and blended in the jazzy heritage and all else we loving, if house Afrobeats, thigh hop, building, reggae, duplicate, cowardly house, dirt, says the team's drum Femi Colioso. He's these unique cocktail party compositions how Colioso believes are engaging listeners. So things love me meeting on a phase and game a chant house older rather than my nan, I'll act a chant I wrote and later perhaps several peers how were unborn in the 90s will know wherever I'm upcoming of. Colioso says the pulse of the jazzy stage is irresistible. I believe the motion, the piece of music and which's departure on, he's got the power to title festivals. Not fair jazzy festivals, but main festivals. He's got the power to sail out enormous venues. All 4 persons artists executed at Loving High, the UK's at first complete weekend campsite jazzy fest. Start up in 2013, the occasion has grown up of 5,000 audience to 34,000 much generational fans in fair 5 year. We're all for our older auditorium, but we're as well comprehensive our junior auditorium. The piece of music is wonderful and we're hard to give it to a more extensive auditorium and do it less than elite. Interestingly, lot of the new general of jazzy artists include collaborated in every some, help build their own stage and refueling the fest's successful. Such youthful London artists how are all work in every some to build a web of ability, he's all interrelated, so very he's them, says Ciros. If they didn't already exist later we wouldn't already exist, or we'd already exist in a various shape he's very exciting which's event.